let's start with the game. Very simple. You will see some sentences on the stage. If you agree with the sentence, raise your hands. Okay? I usually ask people to shout, scream yes or something, but I understand it's 4:30 in the evening, so we'll keep it simple. Just raise your hands if you agree with the statement on the screen. Okay, you two don't count. Anybody else? No, good. So I can repeat my jokes. I don't have to be afraid. Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. RCB is not winning even here. Okay, not surprising, but okay, we'll get going. How many of you like, oh, I'll have to finish this. My cab is waiting. Let's get done with this. There is another speaker after me. Please show some concern for both of us. We'll move. We'll have a question here. I have some diaries that I would like to give to a couple of people who answer this question. You see some nice logos on the screen here. Find the odd one out. In these logos, which one do you think is an odd one out? Just show off, raise your hands and whatever you want to say. There's no right or wrong answer. In odd one out, there are multiple right or wrong answers. Please go for it, sir. Why is that so? Okay, like I said, there is no right or wrong answer. I understand. Anybody else has any other different perspective? No collaboration. Okay. Microsoft. Why Microsoft? Yes and no. Some of them are companies also. Yeah. Salesforce is a CRM solution. Okay. Today, Dropbox has announced a layoff. I'm not sure how many of you have seen that. In the morning today, Dropbox has announced another round of layoff. One interesting pattern that is coming across, my answer to this question, there is no right or wrong answer. My answer to this question is the odd one out is Microsoft. Primarily because everybody else is trying to focus on one problem and trying to solve the problem, including a fantastic organization like Salesforce. Provide certain solution, but the hosting is managed by someone else. They will have to rely on other cloud platform to run their apps. Obviously, Slack and Zoom are very point solutions, point needs. Dropbox for that example. Today, the CEO's note for the layoff focused on AI. His note said that because of recent developments in AI, we need to reskill people, and hence we are not able to even transfer them to some other departments. Instead, we are letting go of people. It's a sad thing, and so on and so forth. But honestly, if you look at it, I would again say my personal belief is the reason is not AI. The reason is you are constrained with the way you are running your business. In the sense that you are becoming a point solution, you are not looking at a platform approach to the market, because of which you become constrained after a point. There is only so much that you can grow, which is eventually hitting a lot of vendors, including a Slack that got acquired, a Zoom that is stuck in a certain place, in spite of all the benefits that it saw during the post-COVID phase. But Microsoft is standing out, primarily because it is taking that platform approach and looking at whatever is the problem that my end user will have, how can I solve it in one integrated, unified platform that I can provide to my end customer. I don't work for Microsoft, but I will still accept the way they are running about their operations. Right? It is definitely adding value. During this next 20 minutes, I'll try to share some insights on why does this matter. As an end user, when you pick platforms, it could be cloud platforms, it could be developer solutions that you build on top of some platforms, it could be communication platforms that you pick. What are some interesting learnings that we have had over years that would make it important for you also to consider? What are the core components in an organization? In any organization, there are two important layers: products and services that are offered, and the people and culture that run the organization, right? What connects these two beautifully is actually technology. That is the primary use case of technology. Technology is customer experience first, employee experience first, and what that does is connecting the needs, the products and services with the people and the culture of the organization, right? So based on that, for example, if you are running a really tight-knit, micromanaged organization, your technology stack will look very, very different from someone who runs a very, very cool, let's say, very not very micromanaged sort of a culture, right? Or for example, your email solution, the type of solution, the marketing automation solutions that you use. If you are a privacy focused vendor, if that is high on your radar, the tech stack that you have will be very different from someone if your focus is more on the sense core, on the deliverability and things like that. So technology at the core of it is not just that problem solving, but it is problem solving from a context. In terms of my organization, in terms of my people, the product that I provide is where technology bridges the gap. Now, this we can approach through point products, saying, okay, I have a video conferencing need and I will use a point product. Or a horizontal focus. This is my vertical, this is my horizontal that I am focusing on, and I will purchase a product for that. But all of it will hit a glass ceiling at some point. When you want to expand, when you want to roll out a new product line, when you want to tap a new segment, this approach will definitely hit a glass ceiling. Primarily because the vendor priorities and the business priorities are not the same. The vendor is looking at solving a particular problem at scale. But your problems are very different. Your problems are, I have moved on from that point problem now. Now for me, it's more of the user adoption. For me, it's expanding to a new market or getting into a new region. So your priorities in terms of what you want from your technology versus a vendor's priority on what they are offering do not match, which is where players like Microsoft are able to win in the market because they are ready for your future. As you scale up, as you grow, they provide the tech stack with which you can continue to expand. That is one. Other is, can I build it myself? Okay, why should I be dependent on someone? I will take the required resources and then I will build it on myself, which is when you will go for a developer platform. It could be, like I said, I represent this platform called Zoho Creator, which is a low-code platform. Be that or any other platform that you choose for your needs, what are some things that come up? Technology solutions, the challenge that we face today are either user-centric or developer-centric. There are very few solutions that bring both the perspectives into the play, which is something that you should definitely consider in any platform that you adopt. What do we mean by that? In terms of technology aspects, let's say compliance, testing, single sign-on, the permissions that the platform provides, they are all focused from a developer point of view. From a user point of view, let's say the user experience, the audio video controls, how can I log in from different devices? How is my data in sync in different devices that I use? What sort of analytics that I get for my context? Those things are what the user expects. So technology is looking at it as a problem solving area, while user is looking at it as an experience area, and a developer platform that you adopt should be able to provide both these perspectives. In any solution that you use, is it having a point of view for a developer and a point of view for an end user, which respects both point of view is an important consideration. Now, what are some core components that you will look for in such a developer platform? First is multi-persona, like I touched upon, user and customer, user and developer, and not just that, in terms of end user as well. Let's say low-code platforms for that matter. How many of you have heard of low-code platforms? Show of hands. Okay, I'll quickly touch upon what they are for the benefit of others. So low-code platforms are platforms that help you build applications through visual interface. In a very crude sense, I have a 9-year-old son. When he asks me that, hey, what do you do here, Appa? Why have you come to Bangalore from Chennai? I tell him, I'm here to talk about this product and platform and so on. So what is this platform? He knows flowchart. So I tell him that, hey, you know flowchart, right? You start with step A, have a decision box, yes or no, a path, and then an end. Assume that you create a flowchart and automatically the backend code gets auto-generated. That is low code for you. I'm putting it in the most simplest, crudest of ways, as if I'm talking to a 9-year-old. But that is what you do with low-code platforms. If I take that itself as an example, any low-code platform for that matter, for example, even Microsoft offers a fantastic solution called Power Apps. So any low-code platform that you take, there are multiple personas whom we need to use. As a developer, I have a certain focus. I want an IDE for me to build applications on top of my platform, well and good. But there could be a legal head who also wants to do something with the platform, who also wants to build a simple use case for his need. And is your developer platform looking at that persona as well? Or is it only made for you? Then it will not scale. Then it will not become an enterprise-wide adopted platform. It will remain to be an IT-used, IT-purchased platform that is thrust on others. So from any development platform that you go for, is it looking at multiple personas who will interact with the platform? Is that perspective taken care of? So that is one. Second, product agnostic. In terms of adoption, Is the platform tying up to a certain technology, is tying you to a certain technology, is not allowing you to scale or expand, that is a huge red flag. So there are vendors who will say that my IDE will work in a certain style only. My front end can be open to a certain type of widgets only, which is again a red flag. Governance is becoming a huge focus area across organizations now, right? Especially for IT and developer community, because gone are the days where we can justify our ROI just based on the product that we purchased and some dashboards and reports that we were able to give. Now organizations are looking at the total impact that the product is creating in terms of how many people has it touched, how many people will be upset if this product is stopped in the organization from tomorrow, right? So for that level of control to happen, governance becomes an important piece. Where most developer platforms focus on is providing the governance from a perspective of giving a stick to a teacher, in the sense that if you want to accelerate, you have to be confident about your brakes, right? Like that, developer platform should look at not just the teacher but also the student. Let me explain what I mean by that. Let's say you are using a platform that you want your org-wide adoption to increase, any product that you use. You will have governance control in such a way that you provide access only to a select set of people, you ensure the right reports are shared only with the correct set of people and so on, which is fine. But for the end user also, he should have the confidence that, hey, if I am playing with this component in my application, I have access to it. The organization has authorized me to play it, I can confidently go and dabble with it. If the tool says, hey, you're not authorized to touch this module, contact your administrator, the user will actually get confidence. He will not get irritated. He will get confidence that, hey, okay, my job is not IT. I am not a core IT developer person. I am interacting with this application for a point need that I have. And if the system tells me that, hey, you're not authorized to do it, I will be more and more confident in areas where the system allows me to authorize it, allows me to access it. So that is when adoption will increase. So that is another interesting component. Privacy is, I think, is becoming abused in the sense that everybody says we are focused on privacy, but this is our or my fundamental belief. Organizations cannot club privacy and advertising. They are at loggerheads. If you are saying I am focused on privacy, you cannot have an advertising business. If you are having an advertising business, you cannot say that you are a privacy focused organization. Open for debate, but that is my perspective. But if you come back to the nitty-gritties of any platform that you choose, how many of you, show of hands again, for number of people who read cookie statements before accepting it? Show of hands. How many of you don't read and just click accept all? Yeah, what if I tell you this event thing says it can be extended till 7 o'clock if required? Salt merge condition has that the event can be extended till 7 o'clock if required. How many of you read it? Okay, I'm kidding, there was no such clause, I will finish at 5. But this is, we call it hidden privacy, in the sense that people say that, hey, I am privacy conscious, but there are a lot of clauses that the user doesn't have time to read, in the sense that you are at the click of a button trying to install something and there is a pop-up that says, hey, do you accept everything? Human mind doesn't have time to go through all the contract, download it as a PDF, read for later. That is not how it works. 9 out of 10 people know that is how it works, but they still have it for the sake of having it. So that is fake privacy, I would say. Now, certain organizations genuinely respect the privacy of users, and you will get to know it when you interact. I think recently, a couple of days back, there was this ChatGPT conversation again, right? Around the privacy aspect of, does the user asks for recommendations near me, and then it says location I am not aware of. Then after some time, it recommends restaurants nearby. You know, when you interact with the tool, when you interact with the vendor from whom you are purchasing, you will clearly understand and ask these hard questions in terms of, where is my data getting used? Who are the different people who will have access to the data? From a compliance point of view also, if there is a breach, who are the different folks who will be auditing my data, who will be looking at my data, and that will clearly give you how privacy focused the vendor is. And this is something at Zoho we are very squarely focused on, in the sense that one of the few organizations where when you go to the website, you will not have that cookie pop-up, because we don't drop cookies in the visitors systems. So you will get to know when you interact with the vendor on who at what level of privacy focus they are, and it is an important component for IT teams as well. It is not a necessary evil. Like many of us still continue to think compliance and QMS audits are necessary evils, but the cost of failure far exceeds the time spent on these compliance processes. So kindly look at privacy more from a business enabler point of view and not as a necessary evil. End-to-end solutions. Again, I'll take Microsoft example because I promised not to do selling for Zoho. In terms of the scope of applications that you have. So I have used an ERP, a very popular ERP, more than 500 million in revenue, where the leave application system and the work planning system do not talk to each other. In the sense that I have a 5 people team. Let's say I'm running a warehouse, I have a 5 people team. Someone applies for a leave and I approve the leave. So my work planning system should know that today in your warehouse, out of the 5 people that you have, only 4 people are going to come for work because you have approved the leave elsewhere. In my ERP itself, you have approved the leave. Automatically, you assume the system should have that intelligence to plan work for 5 minus 1 people, but it doesn't work like that, right? I mean, it sounds very fundamental and simple, but you expect as a manager, I will go to the work planning system and say, today plan work only for 4 people, 1 person is on leave. Systems are not as integrated as they appear to be. While we have a lot of these communication tools which push and pull data from different places, where at the click of a button you are able to open a document, share a document and all that, but context-aware integration is what is important. When you are in a system as a manager, when you are in a system as a user, when you are in a system as a developer, the way you use the system is very different. All these are different contexts. So is the system understanding that context? Is that level of integration provided? Is an important consideration when you adopt IT solutions. Finally, partner versus seller. Organizations, when we evaluate, right, typically, especially when there are high budget investments, it clearly becomes a seller-buyer transaction, which is understandable. But one clear indicator of whether an organization is looking at you as a partner or a buyer. When I say partner, I mean in the real sense, someone who wants you to win and work along with you is the model, is their pricing model, is their model looking at expansion with time, or is it looking at maximum money at the point of purchase? That's a clear indicator of how is the vendor looking at you and how much is the vendor having confidence in his product. Very crudely put. If the vendor is looking at, hey, you will have to make a commitment of $100K purchase for the next 1 year and that's when you can get started with, versus someone who can say that, hey, you can start with a free trial, you can use this platform for 30 days and try out, or you can start with a $10K usage and then you can expand, and when you want more capabilities, you will have to go to the next plan. I would rather choose the latter than the former, because primarily the former is giving me an indication that, hey, I don't care how you are going to use the platform, I want money in my kitty. So I will make you commit and pay the money that I want, and I don't worry about how the adoption is going to happen in your organization. Whereas the latter is looking at me as a partner. He's saying, you come, you taste the product, you see if it makes sense for you. I am confident that the product will work for you. So naturally, from the current 10 user license, you will upgrade to 100 user license and to 1000 user license. I will make money. At the end of the day, we are all trying to make money in an acceptable way, right? And that is a clear indicator of whether a vendor, a platform that you are working with is looking at you as a partner or as a seller and as a transactional relationship. From our point of view, from a Zoho point of view also, what we are looking at is to act as a platform to empower everyone to build end-to-end solutions through a unified platform. And what do we mean by that? Again, these are trade-offs. In yesterday's keynote, I'm sure some of you would have seen, trade-offs is an important area in the technical decision making, also in terms of business decision making, right? I'll give you this example. For example, I'll take Zoho Creator, our low-code platform, just to explain the case here. Our vision says that we will empower everyone to easily build powerful solutions. So there are 3 keywords or jargons here. We are saying everyone, we are saying easily and powerful. Everyone should be easily able to build powerful solutions. I'm just taking this as an example to dissect. Now, there are 3 keywords, right? Everyone. What do we mean by everyone? Whether you are an IT developer, whether you are a business user, you should be able to build applications. Fine. What do we mean by use? You should be able to easily build solutions. The whole experience of purchase, the whole experience of user adoption Even if you want to leave the platform, how can we make it easy for you to move out instead of nickel and diming customers? So that's the ease part. Third is powerful. Can you build powerful solutions on top of this platform, or can you build only toy applications on this platform? Now, from a vendor point of view, you will have to look at the trade-off on, of the three, what is the vendor focusing on? Or for example, from a Zoho point of view, we are looking at all three, right? Now there are platforms that say that, hey, you can build powerful solutions, but it is not meant for everyone. It is only meant for highly sophisticated users. Or there are platforms that say it is very, very easy to use. You can quickly get started and have a real live application, but you can't build powerful solutions. It will stop at a toy level. You can build only restricted capability applications. Now that's the trade-off that you will have to look at. When you look at a developer platform or any tech platform for that matter, what are the key USPs that they offer, and of the USPs, what are they prioritizing? And is it aligning with my value system? I think purely if you are looking at a long-term relationship with a vendor, with any platform, that value systems become important. Again, I'll take Zoho's example. More than almost 20% of Zoho employees, so Zoho is a $1 billion revenue organization, not a valuation, actual revenue is $1 billion revenue, and 12,000 employees as we speak and 50 plus apps. Of the 12,000 employees, 20% of the employees do not have a graduation, do not have a degree. This is not right or wrong. There is no moral boasting here, but this is the value system of this organization. Is it aligning with you? Is credentials important to you? Do you want to work with an organization that does not have, like 80% only have a degree? Or do you want to work with an organization that clearly lists in their leadership page that more than 20% of their employees are from IIM and XLRI and so on and so forth? That is a call that you have to take. Again, this is not a right or wrong question, but this is a value system alignment question. You have certain principles, vendor will have his own principles, and it cannot be hidden. As much as a vendor tries to portray a different image, looking at who they project, who speaks in their conference, what gifts they gift in a conference, how they interact with you in their booth. I'm just taking these as examples because you can experience these here, will clearly indicate to you what is the vendor's value system. And is it aligning with my value system? Because only then you are working with a partner and not working with a vendor who is selling solutions to you. So that becomes overall important. Again, Microsoft will give you that confidence. Yeah, pricing policy is complicated. Sometimes you feel like you are locked in for life and so on. But at times you have that feeling that, hey, I have a challenge, that they will have my back. There will be something that Microsoft will have that will address my need. So that's the way we look at it. Now, from a technical point of view, from a capability point of view, what are the components that you would expect a platform to have? There are three major buckets is how we look at it. First is, does the platform provide you space to ideate in terms of collaboration, in terms of project management, in terms of communicating with the fellow stakeholders who are building the application? Before you write the first line of code, is the platform helping you come up with a common BRD or a common vision to say that this is what we are trying to build together? That is the ideation phase. So is the platform providing you with that space for ideation? So that is one layer. Second is in terms of the build component. What can you actually build? I think most of us focus on the build layer in terms of what you can actually build. For example, does the vendor provide you microservices exposing what they have in their organization in terms of their capabilities? Let's say you are using a low-code platform, does it come with mobile app building capabilities? Does it come with rebranded mobile apps? So that build, I think it's fundamental nature to us to understand feature set, and we compare different vendors to see, okay, what can I do with this platform and that platform, which I think is logical. But more importantly, the ideation layer, I think sometimes or most of the times ideation layer gets lost because that happens in a very ad hoc way. So is the platform capable of providing that ideation layer that connects with the build layer and the deployment layer as well? What are the different options that the vendor provides? Like for example, in terms of marketplace capabilities, in terms of hosting capabilities, is there a private cloud, public cloud options? Is there an on-prem option as well if in case you need it? If you want multi-DC deployment, is it possible? So these are you ideate, you build and you deploy, and is the vendor capable of handling all of your requirements in these three layers becomes an important decision making factor. So from a solutions point of view, what capabilities does the vendor provide? So there are multiple vendors now, including Zoho Creator, that not just stops with the fundamental business layer. There is also an RPA component. Microservices of the organization are exposed. Analytics and bots capabilities are provided from a microservices also, because organizations like Microsoft and Zoho have multiple applications. Any intelligence that we have in other suite, for example, Zoho offers a Office suite equivalent called Office suite equivalent, and there is a writer. The writer, the Word doc equivalent, has grammar check, spell check, and sentiment analyzer and things like that. All these are now bundled as microservices and offered to anybody who wants to develop on the Zoho developer platform. In the sense that you don't need to create a sentiment analyzer, but you can pull and push components, the microservices, to make use of those sentiment analyzer in your data. Let's say you are getting user feedback. Every day from your 500 retail stores, you are getting feedback from 5,000 users. At a click of a button, the AI can go through all the 5,000 text entries and come back to you saying the major sentiment here is positive. These are the primary keywords: happy, value for money. Like how you look at when you do an Amazon search for a product and there are some top keywords listed on top of the reviews. That level of sophistication is provided without even having you understanding or having to do the actual work in terms of creating that AI levels. So that's the microservices component. From a deployment capability also, portals, differentiated pricing model for heavy users and light users, marketplace. I think marketplace is a fundamental differentiator for many organizations in times to come, because the application building process is becoming easier and easier. Now what will differentiate successful vendors from others is how are these components made easier for different users to find in the overall marketplace ecosystem. I build something complex, can I even monetize it? Can I push it in a marketplace and make some, use it for my needs as well? Now, our fundamental belief, again, connects to the vendor evaluation, is costly inputs will result in commodity outputs. In the sense that farmers, for example, right, there is only so much that they can control in terms of deciding their prices, primarily because there is so much of costly inputs, starting from, let's say, a pesticide to the land cost and everything else. How much does the vendor or the farmer have in his control to decide the pricing? Demand issues is one, but even at the supply level, there is only so much that the farmer is able to influence. The same thing applies to technology vendors as well. You are working with a platform that works on top of another hosting provider or cloud service provider. They will have to share a part of their money profits to that vendor. Automatically, they become rigid in terms of how low they can go with respect to pricing. When the input costs increase, the output becomes a commodity. There is no scope for value add or negotiation there. So look out for who you are interacting with. What are the different components? The 1 rupee that I pay to this vendor, how much is going for hosting? How much is going for marketing? Are they spending insanely on marketing? Maybe well and good, but who is paying for that? I am paying for it. It is finally coming from the money that I am paying to this vendor. So these are the other layers that I would look at when I am deciding who I want to work with. In summary, we will look at any platform for that matter, be it Microsoft, Zoho. Look at a platform that empowers you, that makes it easy for you and helps you build powerful applications and solutions. Thank you.